Part 2 of our All Hockenheimring Relives in Automobilista review video is completely dedicated to the 1977 layout of Hockenheimring Historic, where we drove the McLaren M23 included in the Formula Classic cars in Automobilista 2. Come check this out, this was quite a rush. Hey guys, welcome to part 2 of the All Hockenheim Relives in Automobilista 2. This is a review collection of videos completely dedicated to the most recent DLC, or the first DLC released for Automobilista 2. Please subscribe to the channel if you want to keep up to date with the videos I will be releasing and comments. And as I was saying, the Hockenheimring Pack is the first ever DLC to be released by Razer Studios for Automobilista 2. This consists of 7 different layouts of Hockenheim, or if you prefer Hockenheimring Baden-Württemberg, or if you prefer, as it is mentioned in the sim, Hockenheimring. So you have 7 different layouts to choose and all to drive in the sim. 4 of them of 2020, 3 of them of versions of the track or layouts of the track that can no longer be used in reality. Those are 1977, which is specifically the layout you are watching in this video. Then you have the 1988 that you saw in the first in part 1 of this review collection, and then you have the 2001 layout, which is the last one, or relates to the last year the track was with its, shall I call it, old configuration. We obviously chose to drive in this 1977 layout, or I obviously chose to drive the McLaren M23, which is part of the Formula Classic Cars collection in Automobilista 2. This is an excellent choice because it's a very, very good example on how good is the sim in terms of the physics and of the handling it provides to users while driving the cars. And this, in fact, pays tribute, or does justice, if I may, to the performance and the handling of these cars back in the day. Obviously, as always, during the video you will be watching TV cameras and onboard cameras. There I went a little bit wide, allowed that car to go in, pushed me a little bit outside, and when I returned to the track there was a car already there, so this caused a crash. Yeah. So we now go to the Bonnet Cam, starting a new lap. As you can see, the image of the track is different when compared to reality. I think this is very accurate. I don't know how Razer Studios worked to have access to files or images or videos of the track, allowing them to have a proper and close graphics construction, if I can call it like this, of the track as it was back in the day. But the result is outstanding. I do in fact identify this with what I was used to see when watching races in this track. Obviously in television I was very young when I was doing that. We just passed by the first of the 2 chicanes present in this track, in this layout. That was the Clark chicane. We are now reaching the Ost section. This is a very fast, tricky section of the track that after some years was turned into a chicane. It then keeping the name Ost, but then it was a chicane. And now we are arriving to the Sena Chicane. This is the final chicane before entering the stadium section of the track. Obviously, in previous layouts, which are not available in the sim, the track had no chicanes at all. It was very, very fast and very dangerous. But it is very interesting to be driving this car with the Ost section being a corner rather than a chicane, as it turned out to be in some years' time. And when you see the 1988 layout of the track, you already see the Ost section with a chicane. Speaking specifically about the handling of the sim and of the car, of this car specifically, well, I drove this yesterday and I prepared this video yesterday. It was a quiet Sunday where I just wanted to have some fun and prepare some footage for a video, and so I ended up going on track with no ideas whatsoever, just trying to enjoy. I use a direct drive wheel from Augury Simulations. Fantastic, makes use of the SimuCube platform. And I do believe I have the proper settings in terms of the wheel program, and then the proper settings to act accordingly with that in the sim. And therefore, my experience with this car was a bit sort of unforgettable in a good way. At least I'm going to talk for myself. When I joined sim racing and when I wanted to experience sim racing, I wanted to have the proper equipment that would allow me then making use of the sims and of the physics in each sim, allowing me to get a close idea and a close sensation of what it would be like to drive, crash there. Very tricky on exit, the car, very pure in terms of its handling, but I wanted to have a proper feeling that would make me feel as close as possible to what it would be like to drive a car in reality. Of course, please subscribe to the channel, as I mentioned before. Hope you enjoy my videos, but of course, it's always complicated to fully replicate this because you don't have the fear factor, you don't have the G-forces, but you have a lot of other things that will get you a proper feeling of what it would be to drive this in reality or back in the day, and to have a closer, to provide you guys with a closer idea on how it is in the sim, instead of just using cockpit images that I would record after watching the replay or while watching the replay. I opted this time to record live when I was actually driving, because as you can see, you have information in the screen that is different to when you are watching just the replay in an onboard camera or in a cockpit camera, which is the case. And like this, you can hear the wind flow while I'm in the car driving. You can hear the suspension working, you can hear the tires gripping or losing grip, you can hear the braking, you can hear the noise in the gearbox, you can hear everything, and you can get a closer idea on how it is to drive this. And the sensation and the feeling provided by the sim is absolutely fantastic. I would say it's very, very close to perfection. You can feel everything, and you really struggle with the car as drivers would back in the day with this car. Huge tires in the back, huge power, and here you have an example. When the car grips, well, it just forces you to where it's pointed at, and sometimes you get these crazy reactions that are so pure and make so much sense. Also, when entering slow corners, you do feel in the wheel the inertia of the car pushing you forward, the engine behind you, the huge power in that engine, the traction in the wheels behind you. So you make this this all makes a very intense battle with the car, which is how drivers would act with these cars back in the day. So you have to be really paying attention to all the details you feel in your hands on the wheel and in your feet in the pedals, to really understand and be able to anticipate all the handling of this car that is so much more complex than we would imagine when driving this car in other sims. All in all, this provided me with such an intense immersion and pleasure of driving that I can't remember that many times this happened in any other sim. So, and also look how the AI, that car from the AI, is placing itself so well on track, allowing me to have a line to put my car in, not just closing door on me as so many times we see with AI. So all in all, this was a very intense and pleasureful, I don't know if this is a proper word. I had a lot of pleasure driving this car in this version of the Hockenheimring. So just as a conclusion, I would say that this is a proper sim, so good in terms of the handling, so good in terms of the pleasure it provides. The sounds are fabulous, just fabulous, and I'm looking forward for the future in Automobilista 2, because what they have now in the present is already outstanding. No one paid me to say this. I'm just saying this because this is what I felt. The rush I felt driving in this sim with this car in this track was something unforgettable. So I would advise you guys to buy this track. The video is going to finish quite soon after I crash exiting this chicane. I just hope you enjoyed this. It was an honest review. Thank you for watching. Hope to see you soon, and I survived this. Bye bye.